Good afternoon. So regarding the botany class, yesterday we discussed about the flower and its parts and its variations, etc. After that, what happened? The male part of the flower is the androecium, female part is gynoecium. So the androecium gives. So if you happen to see, this is the flower. The center you have gynoecium. This gynoecium having the ovary, and this is the style, and this is stigma. So inside you can have the ovules. Inside the ovule we have embryo sac. This embryo sac generally we have the ovule is like this. In this ovule, this is the micropyle side, and the lower side is called the chalagal side. In the micropyle side, you have a very big egg cell and surrounded by two synergid cells. In the chalagal side, you have three cells. These are called antipodal cells. In the center, you have the secondary nucleus. The center, you have secondary nucleus. So total you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells are there, and 7 nuclei, that's 7 cells and 8 nuclei. And in this, at the time the pollination takes place, that is the transfer of pollen from anther to the stigma. And this pollination, it gives the pollen, this microspore or pollen grain gives the pollen tube. Along this, here in a pollen grain there are two cells. The small cell is called the generative cell, and the bigger one is called the vegetative cell. The vegetative cell gives the pollen tube, and the generative cell follows. When it enters into the embryo sac, it gives two male gametes. One male gamete fuses with the egg and forms the zygote. From this, embryo will develop. So embryo is diploid, 2n. Another male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus. Male gamete is haploid. Second nucleus, you have another n plus n. So you have 3n. That is called the primary endosperm nucleus will develop, from which endosperm will develop. So here you can find one fertilization with the egg, another fertilization with the secondary nucleus. It is called double fertilization. Another important thing, two gametes, secondary nucleus, and one more, this is called the triple fusion. So double fertilization and triple fusion is the characteristic feature of angiosperms, but you never find in any group. So after fertilization, embryo is formed, endosperm is formed. The changes here you can find this removal of sepals and petals, removal of sepals and petals, and androecium etc. removed, style is removed, and this ovary becomes the fruit. And the ovules, inside the ovules, this one is a single ovule, this becomes the seeds. So ovary wall becomes fruit wall, and ovules become the seeds. So these are the post fertilization changes that you can find in a flower. Now let us see the fruit. So now let us see what is a fruit. Fruit is a fertilized and developed ovary. As I told you now, the fertilization, after fertilization, the ovary becomes the fruit and the ovules become the seeds. The wall of the ovary is called the pericarp. So the pericarp is differentiated into outer epicarp and middle mesocarp and inner endocarp. And inside this you can find the seed. So here it is clearly mentioned. So after the formation of the fruit wall, ovary wall, this is called the ovary wall, this is the ovule. The ovary wall, outer exocarp or epicarp, both are correct. The middle one is the mesocarp, and inner one is called the endocarp. Inside the endocarp you can find the seed. So now let us see the structure, seed structure is given as I told you now. The fruit wall is called the pericarp, and the seed that is developed from the ovule. The fruit wall, epicarp, and this outer leathery or thin layer, mesocarp juicy, thick, edible or fibrous part. Endocarp is inner hard stony layer. Regarding the seed is concerned, the seed coat, outer seed coat is differentiated into outer, the thick walled testa, inner thin walled tegmen. In the embryo, we have the plumule and radicle and the embryonic axis. From the plumule, the development of the stem takes place, and from the radicle, the development of the root takes place. This is the overall structure of the seed. Next, types of fruits. Types of fruits, here there are two types of fruits, depend upon whether the fruit developing from the ovary or not. The first one is the true fruits. They are derived from ovary only. Example, tomato, brinjal, pea, etc. And the second one is called the pseudo fruits or false fruits. They are developed other than the ovary or over other accessory organs, not corpusculary, not from the ovary. Example, apple, there you can find the edible part of this, the thalamus. In anacardium, cashew nut fruit, there you can find the edible part is the swollen peduncle. So now you say in the examples here, a normal structure of a fruit, you can find it is having a outer epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Regarding the false fruits, this is the apple, the actual fruit is here only, the actual fruit is here, so that is the false fruit. The thalamus is developed into a fruit. Regarding this anacardium, cashew, this is not the fruit, this is the fruit. The fruit is called the nut. This fruit is called the nut, and the peduncle is swollen and developed into a fruit. This is a false fruit. This is a false fruit. This is a true fruit. Next, regarding the classification, see, the fruits are classified into simple fruits, aggregate fruits, and multiple fruits or compound fruits. If a fruit developing from a single flower of syncarpous ovary, that is called a simple fruit. If this is also from the single flower of apocarpous ovary. So, simple fruit from a single flower of syncarpous ovary, aggregate fruit, single flower of apocarpous ovary, whereas a compound leaf from the total inflorescence. Total inflorescence will give a fruit. So, in these simple fruits, again classified depend upon the pericarp. In this, when the pericarp is fleshy and edible, those are called fleshy fruits. When the pericarp is hard, that is called dry fruit. In these fleshy fruits, you can have many types, and in these dry fruits also different types, we will deal later. Now, regarding the fleshy fruits, depend upon the seed nature, baccate fruits and drupaceous. In the baccate, the fleshy fruit without any hard parts except seeds. Except small seeds, the remaining part is edible. Whereas in drupaceous, you can find a hard central part is there, that we will discuss later. Regarding the fleshy fruits, the first one is the berry. It is developing from superior or inferior 2 to 5 carpellary syncarpus with axial placentation. Epicarp is thin, mesocarp and endocarp are undifferentiated and fleshy and edible. Example, brinjal. The next one, Hesperidium. This is a multicarpellary syncarpus, multilocular ovary with axial placentation, pericarp 3-layered, just example is lemon, 3-layered, outer glandular or rudely part, and in between you can find a white papery fibrous part, and inside you can have a juicy part. So, example, citrus. So, Hesperidium, I told you already, there you can find the outer one, the outer leathery part, and in between you have a white papery part, and inside you can have a juicy part. It is divided into separate compartments, and in the inner compartments you can have the juicy hairs are there. That is called the Hesperidium. Example, citrus and lemon. And the next one is the pepo. It is from the tricarpellary inferior ovary, unilocular, ovary with parietal placentation, carpels fused by margins, and epicarp thick and hard, meso and endocarp undifferentiated and edible, you can find in cucumbers. In different types of cucumbers where you can find, there you can find tricorpus syncarpus, unilocular, another important thing, unilocular ovary with parietal placentation. Outer epicarp is very thick and hard, and meso and endocarps are edible. So the last one I told you already, this is the pome where the fruit outside, thalamus is developed into the fruit, so it is a false fruit, but because of this edible nature and fleshy nature, it is included in the pome. So the diagrams given here, hesperidium, I told you already, here you can leathery outer part and papery middle part and juicy inner part in hesperidium. And pepo, it is tricorpus syncarpus, unilocular. The outer you can have this pericarp is very hard and rind, and mesocarp and endocarp undifferentiated. This is edible part in cucumbers. In the pome I told you already, this part is only the original fruit. This is the actual fruit, and remaining is thalamus enlargement. Because of this enlargement, it is included in this fleshy fruit, and actual fruit is this one. This is a false fruit. This is the original fruit. Next. The second part that is called among the fleshy fruits drupaceous, endocarp is hard. In drupe from mono or multicorpus syncarpus, unilocular, superior ovary, one seed as in mango, you can have one seed, and outer this one epicarp is skinny and mesocarp is fibrous endocarp, mesocarp, and endocarp hard and stony. So the in coconut fruit you happen to see here, what you will think actually, you think, so this is epicarp, the fibrous mesocarp, this is endocarp. What is the edible part? So generally tell it is the endocarp. It is not the endocarp, it is inside the endocarp we can have a white part that is called endosperm. So in coconut the edible part is endosperm. Regarding the drupaceous, look here. In mango if you happen to see the outer epicarp and mesocarp, that is called the edible. Inside you can find a very hard layer, that is endocarp. Inside the hard layer you will get the seed. Here in coconut the outer is a leathery part and middle fibrous part, inside stony part. Inside the stony you will have endosperm, that is edible part. Next. Balusta is a special type of fruit that you can find in pomegranate. From this inferior multicorpulary ovary, and pericarp is thick and hard. Calyx is persistent, so that and above the fruit also we can see the persistent pericarp. This calyx you can see, that is the persistent calyx. And endocarp is hard, and seeds are irregularly arranged on the placenta. Testa is succulent, fleshy, and edible. So in pomegranate, what is the edible part? Edible part is the testa outside the seed, that is called the edible part. And inside you have a number of compartments with the white papery compartments are there. If you happen to cut, you can see the fruit is like this. So look here. Here you can find the normal fruit. If you happen to cut a transverse section, you have a different compartments are there. These compartments are separated by a white papery layers you used to take, and it is called, this is the seed. Around the seed you can find, around the seed, edible part. It is called testa is the edible part in Balusta. Example, pomegranate. The next one we have, this is called Amphisarca. Amphisarca that you can find in Agni marmelos. This is called wood apple. The fruit is developing from superior multicorpulary syncarpus, and pericarp is hard and woody, placenta is fleshy, inner part of the pericarp and flesha, these are eligible. You see, the inner part of the pericarp and placenta are edible, and the testa is mucilaginous. If you happen to see, you can get more mucilage inside, that you can find the fruit. So this is the fruit you can find. This is the name is wrong here. You can find the pomegranate, not, this is Agli marmelos. Agli marmelos, here you can find, this is the fruit, and here you can find the seeds. This part is except this epicarp, the remaining is edible. Regarding the dry fruits, when the pericarp is dry, those are called the dry fruits. Regarding the dry fruits, they are differentiated into three types. One is dehiscent, another indehiscent, third schizocarpic. A dehiscent means the fruit dry and break, liberate the seeds. Indehiscent, the fruit is dry and does not dehisce, does not break and disperse the seeds. Whereas the schizocarpic fruit having both the characters of dehiscent and indehiscent, that is, break into small fruitlets, those are called mericarps, but from mericarp the seed is not liberated. Now let us see dry dehiscent fruits. So pericarp breaks open to liberate the seeds in this legume, legume, legume. It is developing from monocarpellary unilocular ovary, breaks open along the dorsal and ventral sutures, both sides. You can find, as I told you earlier, the fruit is developing from a modified leaf. These modified leaf folds, then you can find the leaf like this. Those margins fold ventral and dorsal sutures, and there you can find the ovules. This is a marginal presentation that I will tell you later. And this here, it breaks, the fruit breaks both the sides and liberate the seeds. Whereas in follicle, it is the bean. In the follicle, what happened? It is also developing from the monocarpellary superior ovary, breaks along only the ventral suture. So only one side it is broken, that I will show you. Example, calotropis. The third one is the siliqua. So you have to have these three. You can see the diagrams later. Siliqua, it is a bicarpellary syncarpous ovary, unilocular, and it becomes bilocules. Actually, it is unilocular ovary where parietal presentation is there, and later a separate wall develops in between so that it will become bilocular. So this wall, name of this wall is called the false wall or replum. The name of the false wall is the replum. So because of the replum, and it becomes bilocular and it breaks both the sides and the seeds are attached on the replum. See, look here, in the first one, it breaks in the legume, it breaks both sides, ventral and dorsal sutures, and liberate the seeds. But here you can find only the ventral suture, one side, and liberate the seeds. Here you can find these are the seeds that are used for dispersal. One side only it breaks, and here you can find in the siliqua, it breaks both the sides, and the seeds are attached on the central replum, central reptum. Previously unilocular, and formation of this replum, it is bilocular. Example, in Brassicaceae family, in mustard, you can find like this. The second one, the pericarp breaks the capsule. This is a special type. It is developing from multicarpellary syncarpous ovary. Depending upon the mode of breaking, the capsules are differentiated into 5 types. The first one is called the septicidal, that is along the septa. It breaks along the septa. Example, Aristolochia and Colchicum. And loculicidal breaks vertically along the middle of each septa. Suppose if your locules are like this, it breaks in the middle of the locule, that is called loculicidal. The next one you have is here example, along the locule, loculicidal. Loculicidal you can find Aristolochia, and it is middle of the locule, you can find in lady's finger, this is Abel's musculus. This is Abel musculus, you can find it breaks at the middle of the septa. Middle of the septa you can have, it is along the septa. Next, septifragal capsule. So breaks either septicidally or loculicidally, but the placenta do not break. All the seeds are attached to the central placentum. Example, datura. Another type is called the porous capsule. It is pericarp, does not break, and small pores are formed towards the end of the capsule, just like below this it's called stigma, and seeds are liberated through these pores. Example, papaver and antirrhinum. So here the first one, septifragal capsule, it breaks in 4 directions, and the central placenta seeds are attached. And in the porous capsule, at the end of this fruit or capsule, below the stigma, you can have minute openings are there. The liberation of the seeds takes place through these pores. This you can find in Papaver somniferum. The next is the pyxidium. It breaks transversely. So far we have only the vertical break, whereas here transverse break takes place around the circumference. So it is also called circumscissile capsule. Example, amaranthus or celosia. So now you can see this is the fruit here, this is the fruit, and it breaks, it is the fruit, it breaks open just like a lid, top of the capsule, and it is the seed. Here you can find the actual fruit just open and liberate the lid. This is called pyxidium, celosia. Next, pericarp does not break. Here you have dry indehiscent fruits. Dry indehiscent fruit, they never break and liberate the seeds. So pericarp does not break. Seeds are liberated only after the decay of the pericarp. It is of some types. First is called the achene, where it is developing from monocarpellary superior ovary. Seed coat does not fuse with the pericarp. So you know the wall of the fruit is called a pericarp, and inside the fruit you have a seed coat. Here you can find. And pericarp and the seed coat are not fused, separate. Whereas in the Caryopsis, there the pericarp fused with the seed coat. No gap in paddy and wheat. So that is the difference. So here you can find achene. Here you can find this. This is the seed coat. This is the pericarp. So they separate, not fused. Whereas here in Caryopsis, both are fused. Both the pericarp and seed coat are so closely just attached, so that you cannot remove, but you can remove only through the mill. So the paddy etc. will take the mill, then only they will be separated. The next one is the cypsela. It is a bicarpellary syncarpous unilocular inferior ovary, the basal presentation. The calyx is persistent, form a pappus in Tridax and Helianthus. The next one is the nut that you can find in the cashew nut, Anacardium. It is multicarpellary superior ovary. Pericarp is very hard and woody, and the pericarp and seed coat are not fused. They are separate. Here you have the examples. The first one is the cypsela, where you can find the persistent calyx. And the next one again, here you can have this arica, where you can find pericarp and also the seed coats are separate. Next you have to Samara. Samara is nothing but a winged achene. It is developing from monocarpellary superior ovary. Pericarp is modified into wings. We have different varieties, different examples are there. Some are having only one wing, some are having two wings, three wings, many wings also you can find. Here I will give you an example regarding this acer and hyptage. So here you can find in acer, there you can find two wings, whereas in hyptage you have three wings. So the next one is regarding this dried indehiscent fruits, schizocarpic fruits. So I told you already, these are having both the characters of this dehiscent and indehiscent characters. So regarding the indehiscent, the small mericarps and decay of the pericarp only, seeds will release out. First one is the lomentum, monocarpellary unilocular superior ovary, fruit constricted between the seeds and each are arranged in a row. Example, acacia. It breaks into one-seeded mericarps. So here you can find this lomentum, acacia, and after maturation, each one develop into one-seeded seeds, and after decay only the seed will come out. The second one is this scremocarp. It breaks into two mericarps. The example, coriander. Coriander you can find it breaks into two mericarps. Here you see two mericarps are there, and these two mericarps are joined by the carpophore, that is the extension of the peduncle up to these carpels. The next one breaks into three, that is called regma. Example, ricinus and croton, where the fruit breaks into three fruitlets or three mericarps. So here you can find this is the actual fruit, and tricarpellary syncarpous ovary, and it will break into three parts, three mericarps. The next one is the carcerules. Here it is developing from bicarpellary or multicarpellary syncarpous ovary and breaks to many mericarps. Here in ossimum you can find it breaks to 4 mericarps. Here you can see this is the fruit, this is the fruit, this fruit breaks to 4 mericarps. Here you can find 1, 2, 3, 4 mericarps. This you can find in ossimum. Next we have these aggregate fruits. The aggregate fruits developing from the apocarpus ovary of a single flower. They resemble drupes, they resemble follicles, they resemble berries. So there are a bunch of fruits that is called aggregate fruit. Iterio, a bunch of this was called follicles, example magnolia, a bunch of achenes, clematis, a bunch of berries, that is called berries, that you can find polyalthia. So these are arranged here, they're densely arranged on the telomeres. Here you can find in polyalthia, this is called iterio of berries. Iterio of berries. And here in magnolia you can find the follicles. Here you can find the drupes. Drupes, these are achenes. And whereas in Annona what happened, this Annona scamosa, this is iterio of berries here. All the berries unite together to form a simple fruit. This is speciality you can find in Annona squamosa. The next we have the schizocarpic fruits. So the total inflorescence is developed into a fruit that is called schizocarpic fruit. In this we learn only two. One is called the sorosis. It is developing from a spike or spadix or catkin inflorescence. Peduncle becomes thick, spongy or woody. See, in pineapple, that first let us see the pineapple fruit, where you can find developing from a spike inflorescence. The peduncle, bracts and perianth becomes fleshy and edible. Due to the fusion of perianth, the flowers form a composite fruit. Due to the fusion of the perianth, it forms a compound fruit. And the hexagonal parts you can find on the outside, those are the stigmas. Next we have this jackfruit. It is developing from female spike inflorescence. Perianth is the edible part, and perianth a bag-like structure containing one seed, and then the stigmas of the carpel and the spines are developed. So each spine is a stigma. So depend upon the number of spines, the number of fruits are developed, number of flowers are inside the fruit. And in between the flakes we have a sterile flowers. They are developed into a whitish or yellowish flax in between, or paper-like or ribbon-like structures. So here the outer rind you can have the pericarp. Inside the edible part is the perianth. Perianth is the edible part. In between the white layers are sterile flowers, and the spines represent the stigmas of the flowers. The last one, that is Sycones. It is developing from hypanthodium this inflorescence. You know this hypanthodium inflorescence, the what's called the bracts are united together to form a cup-like structure and having an opening. This is called the ostiole. Inside you can have a female flowers, and you can have neutral flowers and male flowers. So this develop into a fruit that is called, name of the fruit is Sycones, example ficus. Thank you. We will see you later.